Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
All right, good evening there, everyone, and welcome to another night here On the Pull as we get set to rock from Watkins Glen once again tonight. Hopefully everything's situated here as we get through it. Hey, Mach 10 up there in the top right corner underneath our main sponsors. Mach 10 being the sponsor here tonight. I'd say we got overlays updated once again here tonight as I'm trying to figure out how to go about this. You see, they're qualifying right now. There is your quick times right now. Travis Roberto with a 1:44.768. Now, there is a difference between the track from last night to tonight. We are running what they call the boot. So, tonight, the boot here is involved. We get the track map up here. Just give me a moment here to get it up. There we go. Let's see if that's interfering with anything, and it unfortunately is. So, have to move. We're going to have to move the map, I think, down a little bit. Let's see if we can find that map here in my stuff. Okay. There we go. All right, now we got it. We get ready for warm-ups here. Still trying to adjust to make sure I got things adjusted the way we need to. Now, you see, we're here at Watkins Glen tonight. You see down there on the bottom, that is your league name with their ID number, if you're just curious in that. See if we can get this to come up here. I got 1, 2, we'll see. I don't know if it will or not. We're going to find out. No, not bringing it up there. All right, well, here we are. We'll have to figure that out after the race, see if we can get that up and running the way we want it to. You're still watching them run around the track here. Brad Stanley, they're coming out of the corner there in the 977. He's coming down there into the toe of the boot. Jed Cotterman as your fastest, or just sitting at the top of the leaderboard right now. I don't know if he's necessarily the fastest. Wetland on his outlap. Ignacio on his outlap. Stanley on his outlap. All right, here we go. All right, we got our grid set to come up here. There is your starting grid. Trevor Berto out there in front. With Ted Carterman there in second. We got Dan Brasing in there third. Fourth, Gone Austin Hahn, Justin Welsh there in fifth. Chase Ella there in sixth. Brian Scott there in seventh. Kurt Bassler there in eighth. Ninth going to Matt Mars. 10th, Robert Belbrath. Ignacio Arroyo there in 11th. In 12th, that is Jamie MacArthur. And 13th, PJ Wetland. 14th, Brad Stanley. 15th, Jay Davis. Sage Greco there in 16th. Joseph Spillman there 17th. And Michael Laments there in 18th. And we're going to leave it up here for just a moment here as we try to adjust some of this, because I can't adjust this grid beforehand. As you see, we do have some issues here with the driver name in the grid, along with the number wrapper and all that. Coming there down into the toe of the boot. We might not be able to get this adjusted this week. I have to try to adjust this some. That green flag is out there, down and away. Here in the corner number one. Side by side, Jed Carterman out there in front. I see him all running down there into corner number one. Up there through the S's. Everybody make it through just fine so far. And they work down there off the next stop. We go on through here. I think we're going to do this a different way. Head down there through the toe of the boot. There we got two. Try to see if we can get that switched over as well. Just give me a moment there. We'll get that switched. For you as they head on down through here. We got one coming there into the pits. Not sure why that changes position there. Beats me as it. We see Stanley there in the pits. Roberto's still out front. We're only about 6 minutes in. As we said, we will get that so it'll I don't see why that's moving like it is, but we're going to deal with it, I guess. All right, we're going to run with it the way it is. See what it goes on here. We got Carmen there second, Kurt Bassler there. And, sorry, Dan Brathing in there fourth, Chase Dillon there fifth. Justin Welsh in sixth, Roberto Milbert out there seventh, Matt Mars in eighth. Ignacio back here in ninth with Brian Scott rounding out your top 10. And you see they worked through the bus stop. Down there off the corner they go. And see them all work there off the corner. Great job so far looking there at Brian Scott as he works his way there off through. And watch them head down there through the tongue of the boot, down there through the toe, and then back around, heading here towards the hill is Trevor Roberto. And see, we got Stanley on pit road with a meatball. Having crashed, we'll take a look at it here and see what happened to Stanley. You see their damage there on the front of that machine? Yeah, he just pulls it off. Pulls it to the pits. 2 laps down now. And looking at Roberto, Jed Carterman back here in second. Brasington there. And for Chase Zilla sitting there fifth. They work down there through the bus stop, down there through the carousel, into the tongue of the boot. All right, here, maybe this will give us a clue what happened to Stanley. Brad Stanley's there in that 977 Ferrari. In the middle of the pack right there about. And he lost it coming there. I want to say that was, oh, man, then he ends up tearing it apart there. And he backed into the wall. Yeah, that was coming there out of the boot. That's where I thought it was. I just needed a better picture of the track to show me. Again, unsure why that's jumping up every time somebody comes into the pits. Now I got MacArthur into the pits. I'm going to just do what I want it to here. Where is that? Why now? There you got it. Time left on the screen. Here at Watkins Glen. 31 minutes to go. Okay, on down there. Into the boot goes Roberto. Hey, bring it on out there. Now look at there, Bassler, who's sitting there in third. Bradley get in fourth. That Jack Daniels machine trying to get up there in the third. Chase Dilla currently running fourth. Justin Wells back here in a sixth. They got Robert Bilbrat there in a seventh. As they work there off the final corner, that corner number 12 tonight, or 11, I'm sorry, corner number 11. There, watch it, Bell Brown come down in the corner number 1. Ed Carterman coming up through the S's, Kurt Bassler, Dan Bradley, Scott Justin Welsh. There at the 45, Milbrad trying right there all over the back bumper. Getting where he can down there off of the speedway. There to the outside, or inside rather, through the bus stop. I on a switch, you try to go to the inside during the carousel. Sage Greco having issues here tonight. And he's back here. Now that was interesting. Sage Greco back here. And he'll pull it down here as he comes down into corner number 1. We saw corner number 1 bite a few drivers last night, and it's biting drivers again tonight. As you see Greco going around there in corner number 1. Doesn't lose any position that I see. Well, he lost one there to PJ Wentland. Wentland had his own issues with that corner number 1 last night in the Xfinity Series. Hey, Roberto up there in front. Carterman there second. Bassler there third. Brassington there fourth. Chase Zilla here fifth. Justin Welsh there in sixth. Robert Galbraith there in seventh. And he wanted him to come storming off the corner. Chase Zilla there in fifth. Justin Welsh there sixth. Robert Galbraith seventh. Ignacio there in eighth. Brian Scott there ninth. Jay Davis there in 10th. On here in 11th. And he's got PJ Wetland there in 12th. And there you see Jed Carterman throwing his way down off of the corner. Still confused at why that's jumping around on me. A Bassler there in third. Coming down here to 25 and a half minutes to go. All right, now I got that to quit jumping around. Now I got to fix the other. Hey, the drivers are starting to come into the pits there. Down there across the bottom of your screen, you see them coming in there. Hey, Jed Carterman, and he'll roll through off the corner. And see, we got more drivers on pit lane. We got Davis Hun, and Wetman. So Austin Hun, he ran pretty decent last night in the Xfinity. Here tonight, he's running there in 10th rate now. Currently on pit road. Now you'll start to see them get gapped out here. You see that number 7 coming down here through the tongue of the boot down there, heading towards the toe. And off here, down through on the bottom side of the sole of the boot. Everybody just trying to hang on here. Down there, we see Roberto comes through there. He's done a great job here these last few weeks. Hey, that, he works there off. And we try to adjust this one more time. I'm trying to figure out how to. That didn't work. Now you're watching here at Watkins Glen. Coming down 20 minutes to go there. As you see, Carterman now your race leader. As pit stops are commencing. Roberto is in. Bassler is in. Justin Welch back here in 7th. And Bradley in 8th. So Chase, he'll move up there in the 2nd at the time being. Now we see there we have an issue with our thing. You should be able to read the line or the driver's gain, but unfortunately can't quite get it to go where we need it to. Ah. You see more coming there on the pit road. You got Jed Carterman. "16 minutes to go with Roberto now back to the lead. Scott gets past. Brian Scott there in third. Scott on pit road, that's why. Carterman now up there in the second. Chase Hill is going to see if he can roll himself back around there. There we go, we're getting somewhere now. All right, there we go. Now we got it. Now you can read how many positions somebody's up. Like we go to Kurt Schatzer here. You'll see that green 5 down there on his driver board, down there at the bottom of your screen where it says he's up 5 positions. Down there off, that one through the toe of the tongue of the boot, down there through the toe. There, watching there, Kurt Bassler in third. Chase Zilla there behind him in fourth. He trying to chase him down, and that machine is that Mercedes. Stanley back there. Not sure. Okay, so we got a few drivers out. And that's what we're waiting to see here on the scoreboard. 15th, Jay Davis. 16th, Sage Greco. Brad Stanley is 6 laps down out there on track. But Greco there in 15th. There's Davis. He's come back. 16th, Sage Greco. And at number 317 is Jay Davis. I'm looking for the 34, and I'm not seeing... 34 is out there on track. He's there in 14. No, that's Matt Mars. I'm looking for the 17, I guess. I'm looking for car number 17. And I'm looking at the track map just like all of you should be to try to find out where your favorite drivers are. And I am not seeing him. So, looks like Sage Greco out of this race tonight. That's why that gap is there in the scoring pylon there on the left side of your screen. That is for Sage Greco, as he is not being scored right now. Kind of curious to know why it left us like that, but it certainly did. Hayden Bradington there in 6th. Justin Welsh here in 7th. And we're going off the corner, down there, off the boot. Out here into the penultimate. Coming down here to 10 minutes to go. Jay Davis crashed. Now we see here comes Davis down there in that aimless machine in 15th. And lost it coming out of the boot. We saw somebody else lose it there in the boot a little bit ago. We see now we got Jay Davis and Sage Greco not showing up on the scoring pylon. Stanley up there in the 16th. He tried to make up some laps. I'm not sure why it's hiding the ones that are out. It's kind of interesting to me, to be honest. I'd ultimately rather it say out and interesting, I will say. There we go. I fixed it. So you can see how many gaps are until you're it's off. Where is that at? And why are you on? Thank you. Down here we see Kurt Bassler coming up. He's in third, Jed Gardeman, but he's got Chase Zilla all over his bumper. Chase looking to the inside, coming down here into corner number 1. He will get to the inside of corner number 1. Now as they come up there off the corner. Kurt Bassler having a little bit better run there up into the S's. Here comes Ignacio, though, there in behind him. And Ignacio's there in fifth, heading up there off the straights. Or up there off the S's, sorry. They head down here, heading towards that bus stop. Wetland is in the pits, 10 laps down. Greco there in 17th. Stanley, 6 laps down there in 16th. We got Davis there in 15th. Wetland here watching the race pretty much as he's got that meatball flag. Unable to compete here. They want him come off the straights there in the into the next corner. Right there. Oh, Chase scooting a little loose coming in there off the toe of the boot. Ignacio moved himself up there into fourth, and he moved it up there into third now. Here's we got about 5 laps to go here tonight. Or 5.5 minutes left here to go at Watkins Glen. Hey, watch him come there off the corner down there. Travis Roberto there in first. Jed Carterman there in second. Kurt Bassler there in third. Ignacio there in fourth. It's a blow. And Ignacio ends up spinning it out there in corner number 1. Now, corner number 1 claims another one here. Kurt Bassler there third. Chase Zilla there fourth. And he tries to chase down once again after he had issues there in corner number, down there through the toe of the boot. Hang him down there off the carousel. Heading into the top of the boot. 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Okay, watch him come there off the corner. Heading there into the heel. Chase there in the fourth. Kurt Bassler there in third. Brasington there fifth. Here comes Justin Welsh as he's got Brian Scott looking to the outside, coming there in out of the boot. Got to hang on there behind him, coming there off. Got to make sure you hang on to it. As they work there into the penultimate corner. Before heading through corner number 11 here, that final corner, across that front straightaway, across the strike. 3 minutes, 20 to go. There we go. Off the corner. Heading up here to the boot. Brian Scott Hey, got Austin Hahn, or I'm sorry, no, that is Brian Scott. It's all over the bumper of Justin Welsh. Dan Brasington there in fifth. Chase Zilla down here. That's Chase Matsko sitting there. Uh-oh, here comes Brasington. That's Brasington looking there to the outside now as Chase got the inside. Hey, battling hard coming here out of the toe. That is where Chase had issues before. Chase now up there in the third, but he's got Brasington to worry about now as they work down there out of the hill, taking the curve a little bit. Gonna go up the racetrack here just a shade as they come down here. Whoa, hang on. Here comes Bassler back into the mix. He hasn't given up any. Chase there on the outside run. Work down there, off penultimate, down there across the start-finish line. Roberto out in front, putting the 41 of Joseph Spillman a lap down. Stanley's all on track. We got Davis there and Greco. Last lap coming up here. Well, not quite yet. We'll see where Roberto is compared to when the time strikes 0. You'll watch up there in the top. The ticker will go from green to white. Now we see, here it comes, Roberto off the boot, or off the toe rather, down here to the heel. Heading here off the corner, up there off the boot, coming out of the top. "30 seconds left of the GT3 racing left to go here tonight." Again, sorry for the few moments of silence here tonight as we down in this SDK. As I said, some things I just can't quite do myself, in my own sessions. And it takes a few tries to get it set. Once it's set, though, it's usually good to go. Hey, watch Roberto come down there, off. Down there, so last lap. As time has expired, Chase Zilla here in third, Brasington there fourth, Kurt Bassler in fifth, as you can watch him head on out here. Oh, Chase there in third, Carterman, he's in second, but this is the battle going on right here for third. Now we see Chase Zilla trying to hang on over top of Brasington. Brasington getting there to the outside of that corner, coming there through the S's. Now he will be on the inside, coming here into the bus stop. Well, outside, then the inside. He's going to duck it back inside. Chase really curb hopping here, trying to keep that speed up and through the corner as he now works through the carousel. Down here, off of the carousel, into the top of the boot. Brasington all over Chase as they work on down there. And to the next corner, going through the tongue. Brasington all over. Brasington blinking out there just a moment. As you watch Chase Zilla there in that number 26 down there through the toe of the boot. He's got to try to make sure that he doesn't do what he did a few laps ago, where he ended up spinning it there, coming off of the corner, here into the heel. Brasington all over Chase as they head on through. He's all over that bumper. Chase ends up wide. And that's going to allow Brasington to possibly get around. He will, as Chase gets there into the bottom, coming off the boot. And, oh no, a screw up there from Brasington as he ended up getting a little loose down there through the penultimate into the last corner. Brasington loose, and oh boy, Brasington hanging on to it as he's got the foot down. Brasington there in the third. Jed Carterman, he'll have second. Travis Roberto, he'll be your winner here tonight as you see them flags come across as the drivers have finished. Brian Scott there sixth, Justin Welsh there in seventh, Austin Hahn there eighth. Ignacia there in 9th. Jamie MacArthur there in 10th. Robert Belbrat there 11th. Michael Mintz there in 12th. He's still got a few drivers needing finish. Leminsk being one of them. Stanley also being one. He's got to limp it around here to the front straightaway as well. Kurt Bassler there 5th. Brian Scott there 6th. Justin Welsh there in 7th. Well, interesting. Justin Welsh, even after the checkered flag waves, still gets a slowdown, and part of that could be because not everybody has come across the line. Wetland ended up being classified as out. Regal being classified as out. Davis is out. Mars is out. Everybody has come across. Now we'll get with our results. Here is your race results. Hopefully this comes up like it should. Yes, it does. Here we are.
Oh man, feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I took the idea of taking tires and kind of figured it wasn't going to play out, but I gained a lot of time real quick. So, like, I guess it did work out after all, but I had to work for it. Oh no, yeah, those last few laps with Chase was insane. Like that was probably some of the best GT3 racing I've done on this service to date. Yeah, I want to thank my boys over at FBR Motorsports and FBR Sim Rig Accessories Creation Studio, Sim Motion, V&M Simulation, and guys here at FMA for putting on a hell of a lot of good shows during the week. Oh well, we'll have to see. Watkins Glen's one of my better tracks, so it felt good to get a podium here. All right, take it easy.
What's up, buddy? How are you? This is absolutely one of my favorite tracks. Love, love, love Watkins Glen. I've probably got more laps around here than any other track besides Spa. Very, very comfortable here. Looks like I should have stuck with the old Mustang, but I wanted to try something a little different tonight and run the Merc. I really like it. Also, it takes that bus stop curve really well. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm very happy with my performance. I was waiting on I was waiting on Travis to spin or do something because I know the Mustang, how jittery and how it can be over the bumps, but he drove it. I kept looking at the relative. I'd be up on him a half a second, and then he'd get me by 8/10, and then I'd reel in another, half a second. And it was fun. It was fun. It was probably not too exciting to watch, but no, it was fun, man. I always enjoy it. I love it. Yeah, he's just got so much time in him. It says he's a C license. I don't know how in the world that is. Um, but I mean, you can't take anything away from him. He's a hell of a competitor. He'll wheel that car until it's on its limits, and sometimes it works out for him, sometimes it don't. But he he can drive these cars, that's for sure. Yeah, I think I could have kept the lead, but I put in 2 extra laps of fuel for some reason. The auto fuel, it got me tonight. It got me. But that's why they call it racing and not winning, right? Man, I just gotta think. Jacob. He had a big golf tournament today, and he was tired and he couldn't race. But the guys that I race with on a regular basis, the sim coach guys, Justin, Spencer, Jacob. Just again, like just you for what you do. I absolutely love going back and watching the broadcast. Everybody in the league is so cool and respectful. You just know you're going to show up and have a good time, and that's what it's all about. That's why we do it. Man, that's just part of being competitive. Sometimes you're able to bite your tongue, and sometimes the muscle in your thumb is stronger than you want it to be. It's it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's against the rules, and you'll get a penalty for voicing your frustration. But honestly, I didn't hear any of that tonight, so I don't know if I was on the wrong channel or what. But the radio was silent. No, like I said, everybody that I've raced with. This is my, I don't know, fifth, sixth, seventh race. Zero issues with anybody. And if there was, it was just a racing incident. It was just an accident. Like there's just you can show up week after week and know that you're going to be raced hard, but you're going to be raced clean and respectful. And that's I try to lead by example, and that's how I'll do it too. No, man, just everybody in the league. That's one of the reasons why I continue to show up is I know I'm going to have fun, and I think that's the most important thing. Like I said, so I'm just going to give a shout out to all the guys in the league that we race with week in and week out. Kudos to everybody who's able to show up and make it and continue to race respectfully but competitively, and we'll see what happens next week. Yeah, where is next race? I don't even know. Ugh. No, I'm gonna have to put in some laps there, but it is what it is. See you, buddy.
Precision is our language. Creativity is our weapon. And perfection is the only option. Your ride, your brand, your image, elevated to a level that can't be ignored. This isn't just a wrap, it's a revolution. Regal Wrapz and Designs, where power meets style, and style becomes unforgettable. At Regal Wrapz and Designs, we don't follow trends, we set them. Every line, every finish, every detail is built to dominate. From flawless vehicle wraps to bold custom designs, we take your vision and redefine it. Seamless statements, artful accents, hues of harmony. We are Regal Wrapz and Designs.